Good morning students, this is your Prasanna ma'am from NEET World. Today I am here to discuss the topic algae from plant kingdom. If you look into the plant kingdom has 5 major divisions. They are Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperms and Angiosperms. They are what ma? Thallophyta, which includes algae, Bryophyta, which are called as amphibians of plant kingdom, Pteridophyta. These plants are emerged out with the vascular tissues for the first time. Then Gymnosperms, which contain naked seeds without seed coat, and Angiosperms. Clear? These are the 5 divisions of plant kingdom wherein algae are said to be the primitive plants. Algae are said to be the primitive plants. Now if you look into the general characteristics of algae are called as chlorophyll bearing, simple, thalloid and autotrophic organisms. What does this term thalloid mean? Thalloid means that a structure, a plant structure with no root, shoot or leaf systems. With no root, shoot or leaf systems, it is just a thalloid structure. That is why they are under Thallophyta, and they conduct only autotrophic mode of nutrition. They conduct only autotrophic mode of nutrition as they contain chlorophyll and chloroplast. They are largely aquatic, both fresh water and marine water, both fresh and marine. Some are symbiotic in association with fungi. They are called as lichens. In association with fungi, what are they called as beta? Lichens, wherein fungi will give shelter to algae. Algae provides food to fungi. And next type of symbiotic association is with sloth bear, wherein sloth bear will give shelter to algae, and algae, as it is growing on the surface on the sloth bear, it gives the camouflage activity. It changes the color of the sloth bear and prevents it or helps the sloth bear to hide from the predators, to escape or hide from predators. Clear? So yes, this is the activity done by the algae which is on the surface of sloth bear, wherein algae is giving the camouflage presence on the surface of the sloth bear, with which sloth bear can escape from the predators. And sloth bear is giving what to algae ma? Sloth bear is giving shelter to algae. Clear? Next, if you see, algae are highly variable both in form and size. If you see unicellular algae like Chlamydomonas, colonial like Volvox and Euderina, filamentous, Eulothrix and Spirogyra, wherein Spirogyra are non-motile. And Eulothrix are motile. Next, marine forms like kelps, which form massive plant bodies. This is very important. If you want, you can take a screenshot of it. Next, so here you can see Chlamydomonas are unicellular. Volvox has a parent and daughter colony, wherein Volvox somatic cells are flagellated. The somatic cells of the Volvox are flagellated. They are what ma? Flagellated and come together to form a colonial form, inside which daughter colonies also emerge. They grow in this parent colony. Once they are completely grown, they will destruct this parent colony and they are released outside. Next, Spirogyra, which are multicellular and filamentous. Next, kelps. These are massive plant bodies which are deeper into the marine seas and ocean. Their habitat is marine seas and oceans. Clear beta? Next, vascular tissues are absent in algae. That is why algae are where? Algae are in marine or freshwater habitat. They are into aquatic habitat because there are no vascular tissues in the algae. If you look into the reproduction in algae, one vegetative type, second is asexual and third is sexual. In vegetative type of reproduction, the only mode is fragmentation, where for example filamentous algae, Spirogyra or Eulothrix, when they are break to the fragments, each fragments falling onto the substrata, each fragment falling onto the substrata grows into a new algae. They will grow into a new algae. Next, asexual mode of reproduction is conducted by motile spores, those are zoospores. Motile spores, those are zoospores, and non-motile spores are aplanospores. Okay, these, with help of these two spores, asexual reproduction is conducted. And sexual reproduction in algae, it includes unicellular sex organs. They are non-jacketed. In Brio and Pterido, you can see jacketed sex organs, but here it is non-jacketed, unicellular gametes we call it. If they are isogamous type of sexual reproduction, both the gametes are similar in size and shape and physiology as well. For example, Chlamydomonas. Next, anisogamous type of sexual reproduction includes both male and female gametes. Either they are different in their structure or they are different in their physiology. Oogamous type of sexual reproduction includes small motile male gamete and large non-motile female gamete. Yes, if you look into the sexual reproduction, this is isogamy, where male and female gametes are similar in size and shape. Examples of isogamous type of reproduction, includes Eulothrix and Spirogyra, wherein Eulothrix have motile gametes, Spirogyra will have non-motile gametes. Next, Eudorina conduct anisogamous type of reproduction, wherein male gamete and female gamete are dissimilar in the structure or they can be dissimilar in their physiology also. Next, oogamous type of reproduction. Anisogamous example is Eudorina. Oogamous type of reproduction includes small motile male gamete and large non-motile female gamete. For example, Volvox, Fucus and Polycyponia. Next, based on the pigmentation, flagellation, storage products and cell wall, the algae are classified into Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae and Rhodophyceae. Based on what criteria the classification of algae is done can be asked. You have to remember it for sure. Based on what criteria beta? Based on the pigmentation, flagellation, storage products, cell wall. Okay, based on this they are classified into green algae, which is also called as Chlorophyceae, brown algae also known as Phaeophyceae, red algae also called as Rhodophyceae. Next, if you take the general characteristics of Chlorophyceae which need to be remembered, they can exist in unicellular, colonial or filamentous forms. Habitat is mostly freshwater for Chlorophyceae. Then pigmentation, their pigmentation is grass green, that is due to the pigments chlorophyll A, B which is present in the chloroplast. And inside chloroplast they also contain some storage bodies which are called as pyrenoids. Pyrenoids will have a starch sheath. Pyrenoids will have what beta? They will have a starch sheath. They will have a starch sheath, and over this starch sheath, inside this starch sheath, protein is present. Inside this starch sheath, what is present? Protein is present. Inside the starch sheath, proteins are present. So that is why there is a sentence given, pyrenoids present inside the chloroplast contains proteins beside the starch. They don't just contain the starch, they have the protein also, proteins along with the starch sheath. Next, some green algae will also have oil droplets along with the pyrenoids. Some green algae will also have what ma? Oil droplets along with the pyrenoids. Next, cell wall. Cell wall will have outer pectose layer. Cell wall will have what ma? Outer pectose layer and inner cellulose layer. Cell wall of chlorophysian members will have outer pectose layer and inner cellulose layer. Outer pectose and inner cellulose layer. Reproduction, of course, vegetative mode of reproduction is purely fragmentation. Asexual is through zoospores. What is the asexual spore of the member chlorophysi can be asked. It is zoospore, and zoospores are motile spores. They are released from zoosporangia. Zoospores are haploid motile spores, asexual spores. Okay. Sexual reproduction is conducted in three ways. One is isogamous, second is anisogamous, and third is oogamous. Isogamous mode of sexual reproduction already we have discussed, that is eulothrix, wherein gametes are flagellated. Spirogyra has non-flagellated gametes which are of equal size. Next, anisogamous Eudorina, oogamous volvox. These examples are highly important, need to fix in your mind. Okay. Next, if you look into the shapes of the chloroplast, chloroplast shapes vary in different green algae. Shapes of chloroplast. Once it is asked in EAPCET, important students, please listen. Shapes of chloroplast, if you look, in Chlamydomonas we have cup shaped chloroplast. In Chlamydomonas we have cup shaped chloroplast. In Spirogyra, which conducts isogamous type of reproduction, Spirogyra has spiral or ribbon shaped chloroplast like this. Spiral or ribbon shaped chloroplast inside which chlorophyll pigments are present. If you take Chara, Chara has discoid shaped chloroplast. Chara has what ma? Discoid shaped chloroplast. Next, volvox. Volvox also have cup shaped chloroplast. Volvox also have cup shaped chloroplast. These are different types of chloroplast structures in the green algae. Next class under algae is Phaeophysi. Phaeophysi, the habitat of Phaeophysian members include marine habitat and habit. They show great variation in size and forms. For example, the simple branched filamentous forms like Ectocarpus belong to Phaeophysi only, and plant divisions like massive plant bodies where you will see in marine forms, that is kelps, massive plant bodies. Massive plant bodies deep inside the seas and oceans are also comes under Phaeophysi only. Simple branched forms, that is Ectocarpus, and massive plant bodies like kelps, they fix into Phaeophysian class members. So they are showing great variation in size and form. Next, pigmentation. Thereof, like the pigments present here are chlorophyll A, C, carotenoids and xanthophylls. In chlorophysian members it is chlorophyll A, B, here it is A, C, of which fucoxanthin is the major pigment. This gives various shades of colors from olive green to various shades of brown. This gives many colors like from olive green to various shades of brown color. Next question. Next includes like storage bodies. Storage bodies of Phaeophysian members include complex carbohydrates. They include what ma? Complex carbohydrates like laminaria and mannitol. Pheophycean members include complex carbohydrates like laminaria and mannitol. In chlorophyce, it is pyrenoids which are present inside the chloroplast. Cell wall is purely cellulosic, not like chlorophycean members wherein outer layer is pectose and inner layer is cellulose. Gelatinous coating is there over the cellulosic wall. If this is the cellulosic cell wall, gelatinous coating is present over this cellulosic cell wall, that is called as algin. Algin is a hydrocolloid. Algin is what ma? Hydrocolloid. Hydrocolloid which is present over the cell wall of brown algae is what ma? Algin. Next, under reproduction, we have vegetative, asexual and sexual reproduction, wherein vegetative reproduction purely includes fragmentation. Asexual reproduction includes biflagellate zoospores, wherein the gamete, wherein the spore is having two flagella, that is long and short. So, zoospores here are what ma? Biflagellate. Next, in sexual reproduction also it includes pyriform gametes. What are pyriform gametes? Those gametes which are pear shaped. They are pear shaped motile gametes. They are pear shaped motile gametes. Okay, like this. They are pear shaped motile gametes. Fusion of these gametes will be like in water and it is of oogamous type. Fusion of these gametes takes place in water and it is of what type ma? Oogamous type. Next, excuse me. Yeah, the diagrams of Pheophyce include, laminaria, fucus and dictyota. The diagrams include what beta? Laminaria, fucus and dictyota, wherein laminaria has three parts, that is hold fast, stipe and frond. Hold fast will help in attachment of the body to the substratum. They help in what ma? Attachment of body to the substratum. Stipe is long stalk like structure and it is flexible. Frond will prevent the damage of the plant body from air currents, or water currents. Okay, they will prevent the damage of the plant body from water currents. So these are the activities of this laminarian plant parts, wherein you have hold fast, stipe and frond. In fucus, if you see, hold fast, midrib is present, and air bladders are seen, where you can also call it as pneumatocytes. These are also called as pneumatocytes. And you have frond. Okay, hold fast, stipe and frond is seen in laminaria. Hold fast, midrib, air bladders or pneumatocytes and frond is seen in fucus. In fucus there is no stipe. Stipe. And third brown algae given in our NCERT or academy is, that is dictyota, wherein it has stipe and frond. It just has stipe and frond exhibits dichotomous branching. Dichotomous branching is seen. And here in dictyota there is no hold fast. Very, very important diagrams for NEET students. Please do focus. Next, these are what ma? Kelps. Massive plant bodies called as kelps. Clear? Next, Rhodophyceae. Third class of algae is Rhodophyceae, wherein most of them are multicellular. Some have complex body organization. And some have complex body organization. And habitat, mostly it is marine habitat and found in warmer areas, high light intensity regions closer to the surface of oceans also. They are found deeper inside the oceans and they are found on the surface of the oceans too. Pigmentation include chlorophyll A, D, phycoerythrin and phycocyanin. Phycoerythrin and phycocyanin come under phycobilin pigments. They come under phycobilin pigments. Phycobilin pigments are water soluble. They are what beta? They are water soluble. And phycoerythrin will absorb blue-green color which can penetrate into deeper inside the oceans, and they can conduct the photosynthesis. The light which is absorbed, blue-green light, is penetrated deeper inside the oceans and they can conduct the photosynthesis. Next reserve food material is Floridian starch. What is the reserve food material? That is Floridian starch, which is similar in structure to glycogen and amylopectin. And what ma? Amylopectin. This is similar to glycogen and amylopectin. Next, the cell wall includes cellulose, pectin, polysulfate esters, and above the cell wall composition, they have hydrocolloids which include agar, carrageen and funorine. They have hydrocolloids which include agar, carrageen and funorine. If you take brown algae, what is the hydrocolloid over there? That is algin, and here in red algae it is agar. Reproduction includes vegetative, asexual and sexual. Of course, vegetative includes fragmentation, asexual it is non-motile spores. If you look into the sexual reproduction, purely in Rhodophyceae it is oogamous type of reproduction. Purely in Rhodophyceae it is oogamous type of reproduction. In Chlorophyceae or Phaeophyceae, if you take, three types of sexual reproductions are seen, that is isogamous, anisogamous and oogamous. In Phaeophyceae also it is iso, aniso and oogamous, but here in red algae it is purely oogamous, wherein female gamete is called as carpogonium. It is of cup shaped or flask shaped or saucer shaped. Male gamete is spermatium. Male gamete is spermatium and female gamete is carpogonium. These both are non-motile gametes. And for fusion they rely purely on the water currents. Okay, and they conduct purely what type of sexual reproduction? Oogamous type of sexual reproduction. The red algae, which include Porphyra, Polysiphonia, Giladium and marine, red algae which is present deeper inside the oceans. Next, Porphyra is given in our NCERT. Next, comparative table, which is very important for your exam point of view. Many at times the questions are just asked by picking this table. Many at times the question is asked beta. Chlorophyceae, it is also called as green algae, Phaeophyceae brown, and this is also called as red algae, green, brown and red algae. Okay. Then if you look into the pigmentation, okay, Chlorophyceae it is A and B, Phaeophyceae A, C and major is fucoxanthin, which gives colors varying from olive green to various shades of brown. Next, Rhodophyceae is phycoerythrin and it is chlorophyll A and D. Remembered? Next, coming to the stored food, Chlorophyceae starch stored in the form of pyrenoids. Then in Phaeophyceae, laminarian and mannitol. Rhodophyceae it is Floridian starch, which is similar to amylopectin and glycogen. If you look into the cell wall, Chlorophyceae cell wall is cellulose and outer wall is cellulose, outer wall is pectose, inner is cellulose. Phaeophyceae cellulose and over cellulose you have a hydrocolloid, that is algin. Rhodophyceae you have the cell wall composition is cellulose, pectin and polysulfate esters, over which you have agar, carrageen or funorine type of hydrocolloids. Next, flagellation. If you see, in Chlorophyceae you have 2 to 8 flagella which are apical. Which are apical means they arise from the apical side of the algal body, apical side of the algal body. As such, how many flagella are there beta? 2 to 8 equal apical flagella. Phaeophyceae, if you take Phaeophyceae, in Phaeophyceae you have 2 unequal flagella. two unequal flagella like this. Okay. Next, rhodophysi, the flagellar members are absent because both male and female gametes are non-motile, and in asexual reproduction also they are not conducting any mode of asexual reproduction. Purely it is relayed on oogamous type of sexual reproduction. If you look into the habitats of chlorophysi, freshwater, brackish water and salt water, same for all the types of algae, but in rhodophysi it is mostly marine. In rhodophysi it is mostly marine. Chlorophysi it is mostly freshwater. Chlorophysi it is mostly freshwater. Next, if you see the economic importance, which is again important, students. Algae is very minute topic under plant kingdom, but many a times questions are asked from algae. Okay. Economic importance is, first is algal photosynthesis, wherein half of the total carbon dioxide fixation is done by algae only, and this increases the dissolved oxygen level in the water bodies. Next, algae are the primary producers and they form the basis for food cycles in the aquatic animals. Around 70 species of marine algae are used as food. For example, Porphyra, Laminaria and Sargassum. Of this, Porphyra is what beta? Porphyra is red algae. Laminaria and Sargassum are brown algae. Laminaria and Sargassum are brown algae. Next, if you see, they are used as food supplements, like unicellular algae like chlorella and spirulina. They are even used by space travelers. Many a times the question is just asked from this area of economic importance. Unicellular algae like chlorella and spirulina are used by space travelers as food supplements. Okay. Next, hydrocolloids. Hydrocolloids include marine brown and red algae. Hydrocolloids include marine brown and red algae, wherein brown algae hydrocolloid is algin, red algae hydrocolloid is agar and carrageen. These are commercially used. Next, commercially used in what sense? For example, Gracilaria and Giladium. From this red algae, agar is extracted, and here they are used in microbial culture. First thing, they are used in microbial culture. Second is for the preparation of ice creams and jellies, it is useful. Next, they are rich source of iodine. Algae are rich source of iodine. For example, kelps, laminaria and fucus. All of them are brown algae which are rich in the source of iodine. Next, coming to the life cycle of algae. Algae conducts haplontic life cycle. What life cycle beta? Algae conducts haplontic life cycle. How means, if you take the algal body, it is haploid. The gametes which it is releasing, it is also haploid. Zygote is the only diploid cell. Zygote is the only diploid cell in the life cycle of algae. This zygote will undergo meiosis, which is called as zygotic meiosis. It is called as what ma? Zygotic meiosis, wherein they undergo meiosis and again they will release the haploid cells. They will release haploid algal cells. Okay. So, in the entire life cycle, if you take, the only diploid cell is zygote. That is why we will say algae conducts haplontic life cycle, as all the phases of its life cycle except zygote are haploid. But then there are few exceptions, like haplodiplontic life cycle. Haplodiplontic life cycle is conducted. Haplodiplontic life cycle is conducted by laminaria, by Polysiphonia and Dictyota. Okay, haplodiplontic life cycle is conducted by Polysiphonia and Dictyota Diplontic life cycle is conducted by fucus. Diplontic life cycle is conducted by fucus, which is brown algae. Dictyota is brown algae again. Polysiphonia is red algae. These are few exceptions for life cycle of algae. Of course, life cycle part is deleted for NEET, but then these are few points, you just keep it in your mind, which are important because both asexual and sexual reproduction though we have to read, right? That is why just remember few points with respect to life cycle also. The examples where are like, you know, exceptions. Haplodiplontic life cycle is exception from haplontic life cycle of algae like Polysiphonia and Dictyota. Diplontic life cycle from fucus. So that's all for today. We have discussed the complete concept of algae. Tomorrow we will go with Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. Thank you.